Morning. Today is Friday, March 15th, Erev Shabbat Parshat Pekudei. I get to do this recording outside on Thursday, and it's amazing that we can actually be back outside with this beautiful weather that it only continue to be this way. So the Parsha begins with a simple sentence. As we know, Vayaka Pekudei is a reiteration of all that we found in the earlier parsha about the Mishkan, but this is how the parsha begins. Elef Pekudei HaMishkan Mishkan Haidud Asher Pukad Al Pi Moshe. We don't need the first part for the moment. This is the accounting of the Mishkan, the Mishkan, the tabernacle of testimony, which were accounted for by the mouth of Moshe. It's a little strange, wordy sentence. We're gonna learn about all the all the money that was collected and all the things that were collected. I want us to note a very fascinating and troubling midrash in the Tanchuma. It says the following: I'll just freehand translate it. When the Melechat HaMishkan was completed, all the work of creating it. He said to them, come, let's make a cheshbon. Why don't we provide a full roster and a full accounting? Why was it that Moshe made a cheshbon with them? Why did he need to? After all, God trusted Moshe. He says of Moshe, later in Bamidbar, Lo chen avdi Moshe b'chol beiti ne'emanhu. Right, Moshe is my most trustworthy person in my house. So why does he have to give a cheshbon? Why is he giving an accounting? Ella, mipnei sheshama Moshe. I'm reading in Hebrew too. At leitzanei hador, Moshe heard the mockers, the critics, the yentas, I got the list. They were masichin acharav. They were speaking, talking after him, meaning in a yenta way. Quoting the verse earlier in pasuk Parak Lamed Gimel Chet, right earlier, when Moshe would go out to the tent, everyone would arise and they would stand by their tents. It says, and they would look at Moshe until he came to the tent. What were they saying? Asked the midrash. Hayu mistaklin ma'acharav omer achad l'chayver. They would look after him, right, and they went behind him, and they'd say one to the other, "Oh, look at his neck." Right, look at his thighs. You know, he's nice and he's kind of hurry. He's eating very nicely. Ochel mishalanu. He's eating, from our monies. Shotem mishalanu. He's getting it from us. And the other one would respond, Reka, like somebody's eating our food somehow. And the other one would say, you idiot. Adam shnimadel melechat hamishkan. The guy who's been put in charge of the whole operation of the Mishkan, and all those kikarei kesef, kikarei zahav, all those bullions and gold and silver bullions, and there's no one, right? There's no exact count or weight or amount that's being supervised. Ma taratzeh shelo yashir. What do you want? This guy shouldn't be rich. Of course he's going to get rich. Meaning the accusation that Moshe had his hand in the kitty. That's what it means. Moshe, when Moshe heard this, he said, Chayechem, by your lives. When this is all done, I need to obtain lahem cheshbon. I'm going to give a full, exact accounting, and that's the pasuk Mishkan. As if he's saying, I can account for every penny, every dime. It's all accounted for. You people who have what to say about me. What a terrible, terrible midrash. What it asserts, of course, not the midrash's fault, but maybe they're reflecting what they know about human nature, about what people have to say about communal leaders, anybody who seems to be doing well, that people will have. We can imagine all these possibilities, right? And they put it into the mouth of the others in regards to Moshe, and Moshe says, here's the accounting. Now, is that accounting that Moshe offers? Is that what you put back in the face of Scoffers, and it's an awful thing, Or, or is it actually a fulfillment of other values that we do have? Namely, "V'nimtza chen v'seichel tov beinei Elokim v'adam," we say, right? That I should find grace and good thoughts, seichel tov, whatever that means, right? Good thinking, in the eyes of God and people. And Chazal say, just like you have to be Yodsei Yidei Shamayim, just like you have to somehow fulfill God's expectations, you have to fulfill people's expectations too. Is that because people are right? No, not because people are right. Maybe it has to do with if you're a religious leader, if you want to have an impact, you got to make sure that you can cover all these things so that your message won't be lost because in the accusations that'll fly otherwise. So you have to always be upfront about things. Maybe that's too. Or maybe there is a religious value in having people think right about you. Interesting point. You know, I listened to, 2 weeks ago I was at a conference, and I listened to an evangelical minister who at one point, and I understood what he was trying to say. He was trying to say, I have to get up and say what's right and not care what other people think. But he broadened it, I think, beyond that. What I think the lesson is here. He kind of said it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. You only have to be right by God. And yes, in a certain level, you have to be right by God. When people are standing up against you in the Word of God, you stand right by God. But when it's anything less than that, you have to try to be right by people too. Because we live in the world with people, and it's a religious desideratum and a religious expectation that we make ourselves in a space in which people aren't always questioning one another. And one of the ways in which you do that is by saying, okay, this is a transparent world in which we're living. And you don't be, because people are tempted, so you won't be tempted anymore. And now let's talk about the things that matter. Now let's do the things that matter. That is a lesson that I take away from this teaching here. A sad reflection on human nature, but a high calling of others and men of God and anyone to try to nip it in the bud and then get on with the real work of living with one another. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom.